Hello everyone, this is lesson 4. It's called Just Starting. If you haven't seen my first 3 videos, please do. These are intended to give you lessons from the very beginning puncher to advanced. If you would like to follow along, please subscribe below. All the patterns are available in my Etsy shop at briarcottage.etsy.com, and I'll list the link below. I'd like to explain to you what you get with my patterns. You get a face page. This is the beginners just starting lesson 1 with a back that tells you the size of the pattern, the number of the pattern, how many strands the punch is, and then also what kind of flosses I use. This one is DMC only, but sometimes there's moire thread in there, there's Valdani in there, and if it's a mixer or not. That will all be right here on the pattern and also listed in the Etsy store. I always tell you what kind of flosses I use. So that's the cover page. With this pattern, I have included these shapes so you can practice on the star, the circle, the square, and the straight line before you start on pumpkin or the beginning pattern, just starting in black and white, which is the front, so the way it's going to face. See how the stem faces to the right? And then I also, in all my patterns, I include a reversed image. And this is the reversed image. When you transfer your pattern, you want to use the reversed image. When you're punching, you're actually punching on the reversed side. So when you flip it over, that will be your finished piece. It's really important when you're punching words. If you don't reverse the image on this side, if you put it on normally and you can read it on this side, when you flip it over, it's going to be backwards. So you always want to work with the reversed image. And all my patterns have the reversed image. And then I give you a color code, which tells you what color floss to use. It'll give you the position on where that color goes. So that's what I include with my patterns. You can head on over to my Etsy shop if you want to punch along with me. It is available as a download, mailed to you just the pattern, mailed to you with a pattern and a blank weaver's cloth so you can transfer the pattern yourself using the window method or whichever method you prefer, or buy it already printed on fabric. And you can punch along with me. I'm gonna punch along with you. I hope it helps. Okay, you ready to punch? Let's start with the shapes. Lesson 4, simple punching. Punching, let's get to punching. Yeah, let's get to punching. Let's see, I'm gonna work in 3 strand, blown up as close as I can get it so you can really see what's happening or what I'm doing. Let's work on the square first. Okay, here we go. Well, let's punch. Start in the tip, push down, pull up, drag across the fabric and down. Up, drag, down, up, drag, down, up, drag, down, up, drag, down. And you keep that process going. Do not pull your needle up off the fabric. If you haven't seen my first 3 videos, please stop or go back and look at lessons 1, 2, and 3 for some more of the punching process. Okay, when you get to the to the corner, you're going to stop. Now I work from right to left. I don't start over here and work this way. If you're left-handed, you might want to do that, but I start from the right to left, and mostly I punch that way all the time, even if I'm doing a small section. So let's go back the other way. Again, that is the front bevel part of your needle. Okay, so directional. You can punch with that forward, which means that your bevel is going down and into your fabric. Can you see that? You can punch sideways with that bevel, which that's your bevel direction again, on the side of the bevel. So can you see that? See the side? And that's the way I punch the majority of the time, sideways. So you can punch with the side bevel. Now when you get to the other side, if you're punching with the side bevel, you don't have to turn the needle. You just move over and punch the other way on this side of the bevel. And that is definitely my favorite way to punch, with the side. And you want to punch right beside the section that you just did. Now, so you can punch forward with that silver coming at you like this. You can punch sideways with the bevel pointing to the right or to the left. The bevel can be the other way also if you're left-handed. But you never punch backwards. So you never punch with that needle going backwards. So the flat side of your needle is actually going into the fabric, because what you're doing, if you can, I hope you can see that, what you're actually doing is punching into the floss on its way, and your loops are not going to be even, and you also stand a chance of splitting your floss. It just should never be done that way. That's the only thing you can't do, is punch backwards. Let's continue. Now I'm doing the side bevel. As you get going, you almost can feel where that last punch row was. If you tilt your needle back just a little bit that way, it's pointed back a little bit that way, you can actually use that as a guide and just follow along the strip that you just got done punching. I'll be right back. Keep punching and we'll finish up that square. Okay, you've gotten so far, and I just wanted to say that if your hand is not relaxed or you're not used to punching, your hand might feel a little bit crampy. If it does, I want you to stop, stretch your hand out a couple times, fan it out, and I want you to just relax that hand and tell yourself to relax. Relax, relax your hand, relax, and give it a minute. And keep telling yourself to relax your hand. Relax, and then continue punching. When you feel that your hand, you don't feel any cramping in your hand anymore, then begin again. It takes time, and everybody gets it when they've been punching a long time. You have a tendency to maybe tense up a little bit because you're a little bit nervous about what you're doing. So just tell yourself to relax. Maybe slow down your punching a little bit. It's okay to go slow. You want to make sure you get the rhythm of how far down you're going with the needle. That gauge or the end of your cameo needle should hit that cloth. That's how you know that that's going in all the way. And you want to punch and drag, punch and drag, punch and drag, punch and drag. And once you get that rhythm, you'll be able to speed up. Don't rush it. It'll come. It'll come as you get the rhythm down and the feel for it. So you got to have a little bit of patience here. I don't know why, but everybody wants to do punching super fast. They want to get done. Move on to the next project. Well, it's, it's supposed to be enjoyable. Now, see how my fabric or my thread is all kinked up here? Don't try and punch with it like that. Straighten that thread out and make sure that that is clear the whole way to the end. If there's no knots and any kinks, if there's any kinks in that, you need to remove those because you want no obstructions in your thread. And you can keep your needle in the fabric. It's not a problem. While you straighten that out, it should hold. I would hold it towards the end here and just pull and make sure that there's no obstruction in that thread. And then just lift up your needle. Remember your direction. That needs to be pointing to the left so your bevel's sideways. And just continue. I thought here that I would move along and do some 6-strand punching. So 6-strand versus 3-strand. Now I'm going to use the 6-strand CTR because like I said, this is probably going to be mostly CTR punching. I mean, there's tons of cameo punching out there, so I wanted to do the CTR, and CTR is actually my favorite. So this is the 6-strand needle, and it has a little silver strip on it, and so that means that your bevel is pointing sideways. So let's begin. Hear that popping? The 6-strand definitely has more tension going through the fabric. And that's why you hear that extreme popping in there. Again, why I like to punch 3-strand. I always get a little cramped up trying to get that through the fabric for an entire punch needle project. You can do backgrounds in 6 strands if you want. I still punch my backgrounds in 3-strand. I find it to go just as quickly because if you're going for quick, just because it has so much tension in it, I can actually punch faster with a 3-strand than I can a 6-strand. And already my hand is cramping up, so I'm going to stop, spread my fingers, and begin again. Okay, we've gotten to the line, and I'm going to punch just on the side of it. I'm going to see if I can go over a little bit more. and I didn't get all the way to the line. You can leave that, or you can come down with just a little bit and fill that in. Then put your finger on the floss and pull up, and then snip with your scissors. Lay it flat and snip. So that's that square done. As you can see, there's these little areas that may not have punching in it. You can see the cloth through it. 3-strand, I don't very rarely get those in the 3-strand because I can punch them closer together. Then what you want to do is you want to go flat against your punch and snip those ends off just to clean up the back of your work. And don't worry, they're not going to come out, because when you punch those, what's happening is your fiber is splitting apart and it's going in. When you punch the next row, that next fiber is being locked in there from the next punch over. So I never glue. I never worry about those being pulled out. So that's that side all cleaned up. Clean up your little bits, and I'm gonna turn that over. So this is 3-strand, and this is 6-strand. 3-strand is tight, like an extreme rug. Alrighty. Now what I do when I do line work, again, you want the bevel, side to side bevel on that needle. Punch in, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna go as close as you can to each stitch. Don't forget, punch, drag, punch, drag. And I'm gonna try and get tiny, tiny little stitches in there. And that'll give you a nice solid line when you're finished. Tiny, tiny little stitches. And I take my time. I want to make sure that those stitches and that gauge is totally hitting that fabric. That line work, it's actually important, because when you fill in, if say you're going around an area and you do line work around the area, when you go to fill in, that's gonna hold those filler lines into place, and you'll get a much sharper definition of your filled area. Okay, we've reached the end, so let's put your finger on that area and pull up, so you're not pulling that last loop out, and snip. Okay. That's the line work done. And I'm gonna flip it over and see if we can't show you what it looks like on the other side. There's the line work. Circles or rounded areas or ovals. It's a little different than punching straight lines. So here we go. Again, watch your direction, side to side bevel. I start always on the right hand side. So here we go. Punch in. And to keep that bevel, I'm punching really close together because this is the outside of my shape. So this will be the line work on the outside, as close as I can get it. In the line work, I always go a little bit slower. And remember, punch all the way down to the gauge and come up, drag, punch. Up, drag, punch. As close as you can get it to the other side. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my hoop or my frame. Clear my thread because it tends to get stuck underneath. So make sure that that thread is clear. See, you want to make sure that thread is clear. And you begin punching. Make sure your direction side to side bevel is back again. And continue punching that line work. Now in reality, you're still, if you're going across here, you're still punching forward, so you're okay. Okay, I've come so far, so I'm going to turn my frame again. And keep punching. Side to side bevel. As close as I can get it. Lift, drag, punch, lift, drag, punch, all the way down to that gauge. Turn again, clear your thread, and continue punching. Again, it's the outside edge, so it works best if you punch close together at first on that outside of your shape. Any shape, even when you're filling in, when you get to sections. Okay, and when I get to the other line, I'm going to stop. Okay, I'm going to turn. So now that circle is straight up and down. Now from here, you can come to the inside, push down, and now you're going to do fill work. So you can go around in circles if you want to, but I prefer to do it up and down. Make sure your bevel's side to side again. Make sure your thread is clear and follow the previous line. Just continue punching. Let me say one more thing about 3-strand. I know I keep pushing 3-strand, but I just love 3-strand. To me, it's just so much easier. It's a lot more forgiving. You can punch into these punched places where with the 6-strand shouldn't. But if you do, it rarely pushes that loop out on the other side. If you do that with the 6-strand, it has a tendency to pull that loop out on the opposite side. So the 3-strand is much more forgiving for punching into previously punched areas. Okay, I can see a knurl coming again. Get rid of it. Drag that down so it's clear. No obstructions. And you learn to see that out of the corner of your eye. Don't worry about how fast you're punching at first. Worry about how you're punching and your technique. The speed will come later as you automatically have your technique down. You continue punching, enjoy it, take your time. Don't punch too fast. Get the technique down first and the speed will come. Okay, we're almost there. You start getting close to this line, you want to straighten up your needle a little bit so you're not pulling the loops out that are already punched in there. So straighten up that needle and you're done. Put your finger, pull, and snip. Flat again, snip. Okay, and let's clear up our threads here. Now I haven't tested it, but I have a feeling that you use, and that's one of the reasons why I don't put the amount of thread. I don't want you to come short of thread or have too much thread, so I don't give the quantity of threads needed. But like I said, I buy 6 at a time. Eventually, you'll be able to use it. But depending on how close you punch, how many strands you're using, your thread's going to be different. But I have a feeling, and if anybody knows this, let me know. I have a feeling that 6-strand, you actually use more floss. I think you use more floss. Okay, let me flip this over and we'll show you the circle. Okay, that looks pretty good. These little tails, I'll show you that when I take it off the hoop. 3-strand circle. Alrighty, next, let's do the star. I'm going to start in the upper corner. And I'm going to work my way down. And it's the edge of the thing, so I'm going to do line work. So I'm going to go slow and punch real close to each previous stitch. And follow along that line. Then I'm going to come back and go up to the top. Now I'm going to come down this side to create my line work. So I'm going to punch on the bevel side to bevel side, down this line as close as I possibly can. And I'm going to go slow so I make sure that I hit the gauge against the fabric and also that they're really tight. Now I'm going to turn my hoop. I'm going to go up the other side and create the line work. As close as I can get it. And I'm going to take my time to make sure that I get as close as I can get it and I follow that line. And at the tip, I'm going to come back down the other side. Doing the line work. As close as I can get it. And when I get to the tip, or the inside tip, I'm going to turn my hoop. I'm going to make sure my thread is clear, and I'm going to start up the other side. As close as I can get it. So basically what I'm doing is I'm filling in the outer line work on this star, which is going to create a nice definition. And again, I'm going to come back down this side. To the point. I'm going to stop, keep my needle in, and when I get to the inside point of that star, then I can start filling in. And here we go, we're going to start filling in. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to run down the side of this star to the corner. Then I'm going to come back the other side. Then I'm going to get down and the other side, up the other side, down, up, down, up. And I'm going to keep running down till I hit this corner. Then I'm going to turn my hoop. I'm going to go up this side, fill in. You get to this side, you can come all the way down and start filling in the rest of the star. clean up your punch, and you're done. So there we are. That's our square, our circle, our star, and our line work. On the circle, there's a couple strands. There's some strands that are, I'm looking at it sideways, and there's some strands that are sticking up. That's fine. There's nothing wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You don't have to pull it through. Some people pull it through to the other side. You don't have to. All you have to do is when you finish the punch, let me see if I can do this. You're going to go as close as you can to the punch and snip. Close as you can to the punch and snip. And snip. And those tails will be all gone. They're all gone. They're not going to fall out. They're not going to pull out. It's like giving it a haircut. And it's actually kind of fun. It's like giving a haircut. So see, they're all gone. There's no more on there. And you have a beautiful punch. Well, I hope this video helped. Beginning shapes. Well done. Good job. Good job. If you finish that and you feel comfortable, we'll move on to the next step, the pumpkin. That's the basic steps of punch needle. Not hard once you get going and once you get the hang of it. Take your time, relax, and enjoy. Enjoy the process. I mean, that's what punch needle's all about. It's not about a speed, how fast you can put it out. It's about the joy of doing it to begin with. Thanks for watching. Bye now.